triggering fans of NBA superstars. Haha, this should be funny. Let's get into it.
I will be triggering fans of every NBA superstar. If you don't get mad at what I say, then you're not a true fan. Prepare your anuses. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hey, yo.
Giannis would be working at Red Robin if he was 6 foot instead of 7 foot. He has no skills and is only effective because he was born with freakish measurables and super athleticism. I get secondhand embarrassment from watching him fail miserably trying to shoot free throws and three-pointers, aka things that require actual skill. Sure, he won a ring last year after LeBron got hurt, AD got hurt, Kyrie got hurt, Harden got hurt, and Kawhi got hurt. He also missed 2 playoff games that his team won without him in the conference finals. Sounds like a real repeatable formula for success. In the end, Giannis...
Yo, this is nuts. Like, I don't even know if he's repeated clips, but the amount of times Giannis has airballed the free throw is nuts.
Look, comment section. I'm not saying what he's saying is facts. I admire the slander. This is good slander. I will acknowledge quality slander. And he's doing a phenomenal job. If you disagree, I disagree. But this is good slander.
Giannis is just a glorified version of Thon Maker. Chris Paul. CP3 is a tiny, fragile player with a serious Napoleon complex. He had a golden chance to silence a lot of his critics last year by winning a ring when he had a 2-0 lead in the finals, but instead he shit down his leg. State Farm doesn't cover that. CP3 is the poster boy for why the eye test is so important. If you just looked at his advanced stats, it could be argued he's the best point guard of all time, but we all know he's absolutely not. We have to listen to the media slurp him for his leadership constantly. You can set your watch to him getting hurt and his teams crashing and burning in the playoffs every year, whether it's blowing a 3-2 lead versus San Antonio in 2008, a 3-1 lead versus Houston in 2015, a 3-2 lead versus Golden State in 2018, or a 2-0 lead versus Milwaukee last year. Also, the Cliff Paul commercials suck. James Harden. James Harden is an absolute fucking disgrace to the game of basketball. His entire effectiveness is...
I wonder if this is shit he actually believes or he's just saying this.
That is the question here. No bullshit. That is the question. If what he's saying he does believe are valid negatives and the goal of this video is to just say all the negatives, that's tough. You don't know what you're talking about, guy. But if he's just doing it for bits, which I honestly will give him the leniency, I think it is all a bit. Again, this is good slander.
Has always revolved around flailing into an opponent and twerking his body like an IG stripper to get to the foul line. On the rare occasions he isn't hunting for fouls, he slows the game to a halt by dribbling a bunch for no reason, then settling for a step-back three-pointer. He actually used to be fun to watch in his early days with OKC, but that was a lifetime ago. People might tolerate his dreadful style of play more if he actually had the titles to legitimize it. But Harden remains one of the biggest playoff chokers in sports history. Both the eye test and the stats show this. Every single year he craps his pants when the lights shine brightest. He's amazing for fantasy basketball and regular season wins, but if you want to win titles, this bearded sack of shit is the last person you want on your team. Nikola Jokic. I love Nikola Jokic and think he's the perfect player. Are his 2 very large brothers done watching now? I don't want them to kill me. Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook might...
Yeah, he couldn't even say shit about Jokic. That's crazy.
Y'all be so mad, motherfuckers. Don't show Jokic no love. That's a lot of love coming from a motherfucker like those.
He could have said a lot about Jokic, though.
Yeah, he definitely could have. Also, yo, OKC Harden, you found that more enjoyable? I can't buy that one. I can't buy that one.
Might be the single dumbest basketball player of all time. He's never once learned from any of his past mistakes, especially late in games where he just can't help but take an awful three-pointer. Westbrook has 2 things going for him, his athleticism and his motor. He never stops being aggressive on offense, and this can be fun for a little while until you realize opponents want him to take every single shot because he can't fucking shoot. Despite his freakish athleticism, he's not particularly great at finishing around the rim either.
Yo, I need to point this out because of that Twitter space I was in last night. Let's see how many of these plays are because of bad fit, bro. Yo! I've been hearing that argument a lot, bro. Yo, the only reason Westbrook is struggling this season is because this personnel is ass. It doesn't fit his play style. Let's see how many of these Laker plays that he's about to show is because of bad fit. I want to rewind a little bit because I've already seen 3 that were not.
Bezos, the Frank Vogel and the spacing, and LeBron James, he's a slasher. Even though he's shooting jump shots, he's still a slasher, and Anthony Davis isn't there, so he's struggling.
Opponents want him to take every single shot because he can't fucking shoot. Despite his freakish athleticism, he's not particularly great at finishing around the rim either. He gets a lot of assists, but those are more than canceled out by his insane number of turnovers. He's a great offensive rebounder, but his overall rebound totals are heavily inflated by cherry-picked defensive rebounds. He single-handedly destroyed the value of the triple-double with his stat hunting, and his fans/media believe believe
to
that
him.
getting a triple
So,
double.
no. That one's crazy. All that spacing. Because I know somebody gonna be like, well, the DeAndre Jordan layup, DeAndre Jordan was in the paint. Like that's foreign to players, yeah. But no. The one where there was 3 blue jerseys in the paint and Russ drove. The ball went to the right, but he was driving to the left.
And his fans/media believe that getting a triple-double automatically means you played great, even if you shot 35% and had 8 turnovers with it. Russ is also a terrible defender, and in the grand scheme
Look at that, bro. What is that?
This I'm talking about. Some clips, yes, there's a yellow jersey in the paint. Yes, there's a Laker in the paint with him. Like, that's not foreign to Russ. He always is. He has a whole MVP off of doing that shit to Steven Adams. 1, but 2, and more importantly, there's times where nobody's in the paint, and this motherfucker is surrounded by the opposition's jersey. Turns the ball over every time.
Things really adds nothing positive to a team. Is he a great player, or does he just have the ball in his hands a lot to accumulate big stats? I lean towards the latter. Carmelo Anthony. If we're going strictly by play on the court, Carmelo hasn't been worthy of the star moniker since at least 2014. But despite his rapid decline, Carmelo still has a large and very loyal fan base, so I'm going to go after him here. I've already called him a top 5 most overrated player ever in one of my previous videos, and I stand by my theory that if his name was something bland and generic like Jeff Smith or Mike Brown, he wouldn't be nearly as popular. Even at his very best, Carmelo was a high-volume, average efficiency scorer who provided negative value as a passer and defender. He was also terrible in the playoffs outside of a select few years, which is a large reason why he's never come close to winning anything. To his credit, he appears to have finally wised up and embraced his role as a sixth man, but he was never close to as good as his fans wanted him to be, and his style of play isn't conducive to winning. Damian Lillard.
Damn.
We have to hear how loyal Dame is every 2 fucking days because he stayed.
Okay, I approve this. I agree with this.
Dame wants to stay on his hamster wheel where he doesn't come close to winning anything. That's his right. But please,
I agree with
nobody
this.
outside of Portland cares. Dame is a great regular season player and the RC Cole version of Steph Curry, right down to taking a bunch of 30-plus foot three-pointers. Dame has somehow snagged a reputation as a clutch performer despite awful playoff numbers. He will live off of his 2 series-winning shots versus Houston and OKC, and he was great in those 2 first-round series and in 2021 versus Denver, but the rest of his playoff career is exceptionally bad. He's a terrible defender, and this has been a largely overlooked reason for why Portland has never gone far in the playoffs outside of 2019. Unless the NBA starts handing out championship trophies for not running from the grind, Dame will never win anything and be most remembered as a shitty SoundCloud rapper. Anthony.
Oh, wow.
I paused it to say, if there's one slander bit that I'm gonna probably be with him on, I ain't gonna lie, it's the Dame one. Not that I hate Dame. First of all, the playoff performances, he a little bit. He spin a little bit. It's a little bit dragged. Even though I think he ain't as bad as he's implying. Y'all size him a little bit. But more importantly, this loyalty shit, bro. We don't care. At this point, Portland don't care. They got Simons now. That motherfucker, look him up. He going crazy. Get out. Just leave, bro. Like, please leave, bro. Holy shit. Nobody cares about the loyalty no more.
I do want to know how much of it is like unprovoked though. Because if it's like, if a reporter keeps asking him these questions, I know he has the option sometimes to just deny the question, but at some point it's going to get to a point where like, yo, you got to answer the media. Now you're a villain. If he's just answering questions, I don't see a problem with it. But if it's just like, yo, did you guys know I'm in Portland today? Like, all right, damn.
Davis. Anthony Davis has a sick sexual satisfaction with the floor, which is why he flops and drops to the ground at least 10 times every game. He also has a fetish for going back to the locker room once every few games with a mild injury.
I think he has a crush on his doctor.
AD is a maddeningly frustrating player. He is physically capable of dominating a game at any point, but he only seems to do so unless begged or shamed into doing it. It's almost like he needs people to criticize him before he tries hard instead of just trying hard. He doesn't have a consistent motor, and this is a big reason why he only made the playoffs 2 times in 7 years with New Orleans. He's 28 years old and in the absolute prime of his career. He should be, at worst, the 2nd or 3rd best player in the NBA. But instead, he's in the lower part of the top 10, if that. If he had the same mindset as Russell Westbrook or Giannis, they would have to fold the NBA. Stephen Curry.
Yo, I swear to God, every time I watch a Lakers game, it's just, oh shit, AD went down. Like every game I watch, I'm like, what the fuck, bro? This is so frustrating. I can't imagine it. For real, I can't imagine it, bro. Every game this guy plays, oh shit, he's down. Fuck.
Back when I cared about this team, the Laker experience was always, I'll miss this one. I'll miss this game. All right, let me watch this game, though. You picked the wrong one. They lost. Let's start there. LeBron looks depressed. Russ does something that makes you get pissed off. Then you got to deal with a Russ fan saying it was a good thing. Monk gets hot for 2 minutes. Then he's trashed the rest of the game. But most importantly, you can guarantee AD gonna get that one fall that you just like, no, please. You're like, are you okay? Please, no. And then he starts holding his back, and it's just, god damn it. like you sit, like you literally comprehend the fall. You're like, no, you good. Get up. Then out of nowhere, it's like the Fortnite music goes on in the background, and the motherfucker need a revive. And it's just, oh man, yeah, oh my, Anthony's down, bro.
Do you hear that?
Shit,
it's just
time.
another small forward walking to the podium to accept his Finals MVP award over Steph. It brings me great joy that Steph never won a Finals MVP, despite making the NBA Finals 5 straight years at his absolute peak. This is what his toxic fan base absolutely deserves. His fans do nothing but tear down other players and his teammates to give him all the credit, which is a big reason why Kevin Durant left town. It's scarily similar to Tom Brady's cult fan base, and you know how I feel about them. Steph is the biggest frontrunner in NBA history, but he's been very shaky and nowhere near his best with the game in the balance in the playoffs, particularly in the finals. Remember when he only won in 2015 because Kyrie's kneecap exploded and Cleveland's lineup consisted of LeBron and a bunch of Make-A-Wish kids? Remember when he blew a 3-1 lead in the 2016 finals before running to Kevin Durant in the Hamptons a few weeks later? Remember when he was a distant third best player in 2 finals behind KD and LeBron? Remember when he choked on the last shot in Game 6 of the 2019 finals versus Toronto? Or when he scored just 2 points in overtime of a do-or-die play-in game versus Memphis last year? He still hasn't won a playoff game without Klay Thompson. Sorry, Steph fans, but he'll never be better than LeBron, no matter how badly you want him to be. Kawhi Leonard. Has any NBA superstar ever had it easier than Kawhi Leonard? He was drafted into the most ideal situation possible in San Antonio, where he didn't start producing superstar numbers until 2017. This didn't stop people from rewriting history and giving Kawhi all the credit for the Spurs winning in 2014 when he was a role player on the road squad. He eventually got sick of San Antonio, so he sat out with a mysterious injury and was traded to a title-ready team in Toronto, where he gets full credit for the title they won in 2019, even though we all know Toronto only won because Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson got hurt. Kawhi left again that offseason to go to the Clippers, where they blew a 3-1 lead in the second round in 2020 after making commercials bragging about how LA was his city. Then last year he got hurt in the playoffs and his team still came within 2 games of the finals without him. Simply put, he's always been on great teams. He gets the lion's share of the credit when things go right and almost no criticism when things go wrong. Maybe it's because he's quiet, so the media leaves him alone, but just because he's introverted doesn't mean he's humble. If he was drafted to the Kings instead of the Spurs, he'd just be another good player instead of a superstar. Kevin Durant.
Taking it back, that's the segment. Bro, I don't care if it's the Laker fan in me, I don't care. Let me tell you why, actually, as a Lakers fan, that I'm actually justified. Bro, every single damn day, ever since LeBron walked into LA, somebody got to be better than him. And at first, everybody wanted KD, but when Kawhi got that motherfuckers just ignored the fact he shouldn't have won a championship. We all know it, bro. The Warriors are healthy. Come on. Yo, the NBA is depressing, bro. I don't want to watch the final. Yeah, bro. Yo, remember that energy. Them motherfuckers is healthy. Kawhi doesn't win. We know that shit. Then we goes to the bubble, where it doesn't count for the Lakers winning, but we also just tend to forget what the fuck happened in that motherfucker. I don't give a fuck if that was a preseason game. That shit's pathetic. that shit was pathetic. But nobody talks about that. Instead, it's Doc Rivers, playoff Pee-wee, all that shit. He was ass. Him and playoff Pee-wee got outscored by Jamal Murray. The same Jamal Murray where if you try to give him praise, Jamal Murray praise, you're overrating Jamal. So bet he's an overrated ass motherfucker that still torched his ass. It's so crazy to me, bro. Anytime you criticize Kawhi Leonard, I think he's the most secure star in our league, because anytime you say anything about Kawhi Leonard, and granted, I am a Lakers fan, but you're assumed to be a Lakers fan, you're assumed to hate Kawhi, or you're a stan of a player who's likely debatable with him. It's never any objectivity about Kawhi Leonard. There's been media figures like even Stephen A. Smith, who y'all say you don't care about, but you know all his takes. You care about Stephen A. But so even people like him are in the media like, I'm not gonna lie, y'all don't hold this motherfucker to the same standards as other people. But for some reason, those conversations don't trend. We ignore that and we continue to do the same thing. It's so annoying to me, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And Bezos, you're a Celtics fan, so floor is yours. If I'm tripping, but that shit was 100% facts. I don't even think that's slander. I think that shit's just true.
I mean, I don't have much to say. That's fun now. Ain't gonna lie.
Durant. Kevin Durant moans when he wipes his ass.
What?
What the fuck, bro?
Almost
I did not expect that,
Almost
bro.
ended the video.
Hey,
Almost ended the
yo.
video.
If you broke into Kevin Durant's house, he would ask you if he could help you break into other people's houses. Kevin Durant is the type of guy who would brag about beating a handicapped kid in a foot race. Do you get my drift? KD is a spineless pussy who ruined the NBA for several years with the most extreme act of cowardice ever displayed by a superstar athlete when he left a title caliber team in OKC to join a 73-win Warriors team he just blew a 3-1 lead to in a month prior. He never deserves to be forgiven for this, and I will never let him forget about it. KD still hasn't won a legit title in what is now his 15th NBA season, despite being on very good teams for essentially his entire career. He tried to build another super team in Brooklyn with Kyrie and Harden, but that failed due to injuries and Kyrie being a fucking quack. It brought me immense joy to see KD lose in the second round last year because his big ass foot was on the 3-point line. He technically has 2 rings and 2 Finals MVPs, the same way OJ Simpson has technically never murdered anybody. It's somewhat tragic, really. A player of KD's immense talents and gifts will never be respected because of his own insecurities, and I love it. Fuck Kevin Durant. Now it's time to trigger fans of some legendary players, starting with Kobe Bryant. Kobe was a chuckler who needed the best player in the league, Shaq, as his teammate to win his first 3 rings, and an all-NBA power forward, Pau, to win his last 2. He was selfish as hell, and it's ironic his peak seasons from 2005 to 2007 coincided with the rare times he actually had subpar teammates who didn't bail him out with super clutch shots like Robert Horry and Derek Fisher. Unsurprisingly, those 3 years ended with no playoff series wins. Kobe was obviously an all-time great player, yes, but he is nowhere close to either LeBron or Michael Jordan, despite the fact that he gets consistently lumped in discussions with them, largely because he jutted his jaw after made shots and copied all of MJ's mannerisms and speech patterns. This makes him the most overrated player in NBA history. He was also either really bad to mediocre in the majority of his NBA Finals appearances. If he wasn't drafted by the Lakers, he wouldn't be considered a legend he is today. His fans are just as bad as Brady and Steph fans, a delusional cult that attacks people who tell the truth about their favorite player. Rest in peace, Kobe and Gianna Bryant. Michael Jordan. Trying to tear down a guy who won 6 rings, 6 Finals MVPs, 5 MVPs, and has the highest scoring average in regular season and playoff history is an almost impossible task. Almost being the key word. Thankfully for you all, I'm a psychopath who enjoys poking holes in players' careers. First off, MJ's competition was disgustingly bad compared to today. His opponents were mostly plumbers and off-duty firefighters who wouldn't even make a G League roster now. This is just a fact, alright? Just like how the average players in the 1990s were better than the 1960s, the average player in the 2020s is better than the average player in the 1990s. There's also the fact that MJ played on well-built teams in his prime that were good enough to still win 55 games without him. I would not be doing my trolling duties if I didn't mention how MJ not only never won a title or a playoff series in his 5 years without famous cuck Scottie Pippen as a teammate, he never even had a winning season without Scottie. The GOAT couldn't lead a team to a winning record without Scottie by his side, huh? Say it ain't so, folks. I might be known as an MJ hater, but I have nothing but respect for his talents, unlike that cheating fraud bitch Tom Brady. LeBron James.
Oh my
We
God.
conclude with my favorite player of all time, but don't worry, I'm not biased, and nobody, not even LeBron, is safe from my wrath. The first 7 years of LeBron's career were mostly wasted by an incompetent front office and bad teammates. That much is true. But it still doesn't excuse the fact that he was awful in the 2007 finals versus the Spurs, largely bad in the 2008 playoffs versus Boston until Game 7, and flat out quit over the last 3 games versus Boston in 2010. But none of these moments hold a candle to the absolute disgraceful showing he had in the 2011 finals versus Dallas, after he ran to Miami to build a super team. LeBron's 2011 finals remain the worst choke job by a superstar in any sport ever. He played so bad and so hesitant it made me embarrassed to be a fan of his. He finally broke through to win a ring in a lockout year in 2012, then Ray Allen bailed him out during another disappointing finals performance in 2013. In 2014, he played mostly passive in a historical blowout loss versus the Spurs. In 2015, he had a legit excuse with teammate injuries, but still shot under 40% for the series. In 2016, he got lucky versus the Warriors as they choked and Kyrie hit the game-winning shot in Game 7, while LeBron went quiet in the last 4 minutes. In 2017, he sucked in the fourth quarter of a crucial Game 3 loss, and in 2018, he went scoreless in overtime overtime of Game 1, then hurt his team by breaking his hand after the game.
Dang, do you want players to be perfect the whole fucking time, bro? Golly.
For the MJ Kobe one, that just show you, man, his slander was, well, shit, you removed all the good teammates. They were trash. I just got to humble brag about them motherfuckers. Yeah, his slander, that was some weak shit. That was some weak shit. You might want to tee up and do them segments again, my boy. Because, yeah, all you did was remove them niggas. But LeBron, yo, god damn.
Missed the playoffs in his first year in the Western Conference in 2019 and only won in 2020 because of the bubble. In 2021, with fans back in the stands, he played hesitant and lost in the first round. You can't trust him at the foul line late in close games, and it speaks volumes that his career-defining play is a block on Iguodala that didn't even seal the game. For all that LeBron has accomplished, he doesn't have any game winners in the NBA Finals like MJ had. If I had the choice between LeBron and MJ to make a shot to save my life, I would pick MJ.
Wow. Very fair. I'm very surprised because, I ain't gonna lie, in his prime, I don't even know if it's the same guy making these Twitter accounts. I don't know. But I just remember like a couple years ago, he was like the peak of like Jordan slander. And shit has gotten so extreme that I see this, I'm like, dang, he doesn't seem that bad. He doesn't seem that bad. But what the shit I hear now from certain individuals regarding any player or certain players is fucking nuts, bro. The amount of mental gymnastics people go through to justify a person's bad performance or to just slander someone even though they're doing just fine is crazy now. It's crazy, but it's so normal.
All jokes aside, this video is definitely satire, so you're not supposed to get triggered on this video unless, like, you're having fun. But it's unfortunate that you could even argue a video like this does need to exist once in a blue moon, because people do a lot to act like their players are perfect. The reason why I agree with him saying Curry fans are really toxic, even though I think Russ fans got it, I understand a lot of what they say, but they go the extra mile. I'm a Kobe fan more than I am a Lakers fan, truth be told, and trust me, and that motherfucker was not perfect. He quit it. That motherfucker damn near quit. It's debatable if he quit or not, but that Sun series is crazy. So it's some shit that you just gotta chalk up, but people don't ever want to chalk it up. And in a video like this, let's say he did one player. Say he had a more nicer language for you, and he slightly criticized that player using one of the points in his video. Now he's a hater. All troll aside, bro, it's like criticism does deserve its spot in the NBA. Now, obviously, if this was a dead serious rant on all the greats in history, he's just hating. But this is clearly for entertainment. Lighten up. I hope people aren't out here slandering this dude for his video. And I also hope people recognize that there is truths in this video.
But with that being said, if you guys like this video, watch this video. Very funny shit regarding the NBA. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.